Hello and welcome to Wolsung Stratagems, a new mini-series from Beasts of War where we're going to be looking in the nooks and crannies of the tactics behind Wolsung.
Yes.
It's going to be great. This episode is entitled The Armstrong Toss, and it's all about a big guy with a mechanical arm. And if you're enjoying this, why not head on over to beastsofwar.com where we have the extra long backstage, that's the XLBS version of this show, where we have even more content and more tactics for our backstage members. Okay, Łukasz, we're looking at Archibald Armstrong.
Yes, Archibald Armstrong is an Ash and Oak hero. He's an ogre, and he has a big mechanical arm. He also has a neat special rule, allowing him to toss enemy models that he is into base-to-base contact with.
So he can just pick them up and throw them?
Yep.
Love it. Okay, we've set up a scenario here where there's an objective on the train. Currently, Archibald, who's a hero, by the way, wouldn't be able to contest that objective because there's another model, which is a henchman for the scientist faction, in the way. However, Archibald has a friend down here, another aristocrat, and he's a henchman. And our scientist has another friend down here, which is a lab assistant. So, I'm looking at this scenario and I'm thinking, yeah, I don't really know what I would quite do here because my henchman is too far out of the way to help with fighting this golem. Mm-hmm. And I know that this golem is a pretty even match for Armstrong.
Yes, you cannot really damage it one-on-one.
So
also, if you have a multiple combat here, then this guy may throw a lab flask there, causing much havoc.
Yeah, if he throws a lab flask in, then that could cause all kinds of problems because it could end up being nitroglycerin and just blow the whole thing apart. What could I do here then, Łukasz? Talk me through this.
The neat thing that you can do with Archibald Armstrong is to charge this golem, then toss him into this lab assistant.
I like that.
They will both be toppled, the lab assistant will be damaged, and then you can charge and finish them both with the henchman. And the cool thing is that Archibald Armstrong will only use one action to do this, so then he can, for example, activate the objective or do something else.
Well, let's step through it till we see what happens. So first things first, he would charge in. He's got two actions, so his first action he would charge in. Now, at this point, he could attack, but it's going to kind of bounce off the armor of the guy.
We just may assume that he hit.
Yeah.
Because this is quite easy for a hero, but he wouldn't actually do any significant damage.
Okay, so he's maybe done 1, maybe 2 points of damage, possibly. At this point, then, he enacts the Armstrong Toss. Now, he can just do this. It doesn't use up any of his actions.
No, just in addition to your action.
So, in addition to his action, he can do this. So, how do I do this, then? What do I need to do?
You compare the strengths of the model. So, Archibald has a strength of 7.
Yeah.
And the golem has a strength of 5. Which is quite high for a henchman model.
Yeah.
So both the models will roll a number of dice equal to their strength. So I will roll for the golem.
So you're going to roll 5 dice, and I would roll 7 dice for Archibald.
And you need to score equal or more successes than me. Because every success you score over the number I scored is an inch that you throw a model. Okay,
so if you roll and see how many successes you get.
I've got 1.
You've got 1. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3 successes.
Yes, so that's enough to throw this golem 2 inches.
2 inches?
Yeah, you can throw him at any point on the table, or you can actually target an enemy model. And
he is just within it. Do you know what? It's 3 inches, so what could I do?
Well, as you are a hero model, you could discard a card in your suit to boost this roll.
Okay, so I pick up my hand of cards. I need something in the same suit, which is clubs. I'm lucky, I have a club. It's actually quite a low club. I have 2. So I'm going to play that, and that then increases the range of the throw by 1.
This model now doesn't suffer any damage because it assumes that you damage him with your initial attack. Well, you didn't. but he's just a very, very hard tin to crack.
Yeah. Now, by using that card, he has no defense against this because only heroes can have cards played against them.
Exactly.
So if I had been 2 inches away, I could have played 2 cards to extend that range to get it to make this happen. Right. What happens next then?
Now, if you want to target this lab assistant, you need to make a guns roll.
Okay.
So you compare the gun skill of Archibald Armstrong, which is free, against the reflex of lab assistants, which is also free. Fortunately, you have the elevation bonus because you are at least 3 inches higher.
So I get +1 for that. Okay, so this time I'm going to get to roll 4 dice.
And I will roll 3. I will also not opt to hit the ground because even if you hit, I will be toppled. Anyway.
Okay, all right.
So I've got 1 again.
And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 this time.
So 4 is enough to hit with 3 critical hits. So it adds +3 to the damage you suffer.
Okay.
This means that the strength of the golem, which is the strength of this attack, will be increased by the 3 of your critical hits. And as the strength of the golem is 5, this means that the lab assistant will suffer 8 points of damage, leaving him at 1 wound remaining.
Okay.
The model will be moved along the line of sight.
So he comes down where this model is.
And both models will be toppled.
So they both get their toppled markers. Right. Okay. Now, that's all well and good. But that's I have 1 more action to spend on this guy. And if I'm concerned about the objective, I'm most likely just going to move him back towards the objective so that in the following round, I can try and contest that.
Exactly.
However, my opponent is just going to try and get one of these guys up, isn't he? If they haven't already activated.
Since the lab assistant is already very damaged, then I suppose I would like to get the golem up. Just so that you don't kill him immediately with the bruiser. So what you can now do is seize the initiative. This
sounds like one of those times when I really do want to seize the initiative. So seizing the initiative is a matter of playing a card. You could bluff during this, or you can play it outright. I tend to find that if I'm not so concerned about seizing the initiative, I'll bluff. But in this case, I really want to seize the initiative, and I'm lucky enough that I'm holding a good card for that. So
I don't really have very high cards, but I will do what I can.
So I'm going to play the Ace of Spades.
I only had a King of Diamonds.
So I win that. So that means that rather than the initiative passing over to you, the initiative stays with me.
Yes.
Okay.
And you can activate another model.
Now, Archibald has been activated, so I can't activate him, so I would activate this other henchman. What would be my best option here then?
Well, right now you're just sweeping the floor, so you charge any of those guys, but most likely the lab assistant, because he's already almost dead, so you can easily kill him in 1 hit, and then maybe you can just about kill the other golem.
Well, let's see if that how that works. So he would charge in. Let me just check that he would be within range, which he is. So I would charge him in, okay, and he would then basically use his fight stat.
Yes, your the fight of this model is 4. Now, lab assistant would have a fight of 2 and could defend if he was standing up, but since he is lying on the ground, he only ever gets 1 die. Okay, so that's the difference.
So it's 4 versus 1. And again, everything in Wolsung is a success on a 4+. So let's roll that off to see.
1
and 2.
That means that you scored 1 critical hit, which brings your strength up to 8, because this bruiser already has a strength of 7. And since the lab assistant only has 1 wound remaining, it just kills him outright. So he's now removed from the game.
So he's gone. But that has only used 1 of my actions.
Exactly.
How many actions does the bruiser get?
The bruiser also has 2 actions. Most of the model in the game have 2 actions.
Yeah, so his second action then is he would then probably just charge into the golem.
Exactly, and the golem is also lying on the ground. So no matter how many fight he has, he only ever rolls 1 die.
Okay, so in this instance, I would roll 4 against 1 again. Okay, so...
And I got none.
And I got a cocked one, so let me re-roll it. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 that time.
This means you get 4 critical hits, which adds to your strength of 7, giving 11. Now we have to deduct 7 from this because the golem is armored and has armor of 7, which leaves just enough damage to kill him, even if you didn't damage him with the Armstrong.
Awesome. Awesome. So there in 2 moves, I've managed to clear out the threat that I would have had against my my objective on this one.
Yes, it costed you a few cards to secure it, but it was well worth it.
That's a potential game-winning move there, and all made possible because of the Armstrong Toss. And the interesting thing about that model is that currently he's the only character that can actually do it in Wolsung. So, guys, there you have it. If you enjoyed that, why not hop on over to beastsofwar.com, where we continue our look at this, and we're going to have a look at another tactic in XLBS. Post your comments below if you have any questions, queries, or ideas. Get them in the comments below, and myself and Łukasz will be online to try and answer them for you. Other than that, thank you to Łukasz.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching.
So now you can use another Butler's ability, which is to use any card for heroic move instead of the card in your suit.
Right, so normally you have to use a card in the suit. And what suit is Sir Zachary?
Sir Zachary is diamonds.
He's diamonds. So normally I'd have to use a diamond to do a heroic move. And you can even do heroic moves in a wheelchair. So a heroic move would allow him to jump, wouldn't it?
Yes, he will just climb there on the wall of the wheelchair.